Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online VGC ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Yesterday, we kicked off Road to Rank for the brand new season. I am still using the Glastrier team that I built. I think what I'm going to do for the first week is basically switch teams every 2 episodes, mainly because I have created 4 teams through the Showdown episodes that we did previously. And no surprise to go up against this very same team. Of course, this is the team that Wolfie used, and we played it in yesterday's episode. So, how do we approach yesterday's episode? I think we just went with Trick Room Glastrier. Like, Trick Room plus Glastrier is really good here. I think we had Fini, but I don't remember what I led. Let's see, Dusclops. Did I go Dusclops Indeedee yesterday? I don't think I did. I actually really don't remember. But for the case of this game, I'm going to go Incineroar, Dusclops, Tapu Fini, and Glastrier. I know Wolfie just posted a video about this earlier today as well, so yeah. Well, we'll see how this game goes. Thank you as always for watching Road to Rank. If you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like. I hope everyone's been having fun with Series 7. Question of the day. I want to know, out of all the returning Pokemon from the DLC, what has been your favorite Pokemon so far? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, Regieleki and Moltres. So what do I want to do here? I don't think Max Darkness should one-shot Dusclops. So I think we can just fake out into the Regieleki Trick Room turn 1, Parting Shot Moltres turn 2, and get in the Glastrier. I'm down for that. I could also fake out Moltres to prevent a nasty plot. That actually might be the better play here, but I don't want screens being up in this game. Screens being up isn't that much of a problem if I get Glastrier out, I guess, but I could also see Moltres just Dynamaxing here. To fake out Moltres or not. It's between Moltres and Regieleki. I really see Moltres nasty plotting here, to be honest. And I really want to deny the plot. Yeah, I'm actually going to fake out the Moltres. If they Dynamax, so be it. It's not the end of the world. And yeah, they don't Dynamax. Okay, good. So that indicates to me they were going for nasty plot. So Regieleki goes for Reflect, but that's okay. Like, yeah, I'm dealing with Reflect for the next couple of turns, but I get Trick Room up, and they don't get a... what was I going to say? They don't get a nasty plot off, which is a really big deal. I think I'm actually just going to Nightshade Moltres here, and I'm actually not going to Will-O-Wisp, because, or sorry, Parting Shot, because I don't want to just bring in the Glastrier or the Fini, because it's likely that Regieleki goes for a Volt Switch onto that slot. So let's just go for a Nightshade here onto Moltres and a Burning Jealousy. I like that. Yep, they don't Dynamax, they don't switch. So we're slowly chipping away at the Moltres, which is quite nice. We get the Burning Jealousy off as well. I think it's probably going to be Volt Switch. I did just activate Berserk, but that's fine, I think. Wow, Moltres actually commits a nasty plot there. Interesting. Then it might Dynamax next turn. Yeah, and there's Volt Switch, I would think, into the instant slot. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to just bring in Glastrier. I guess you can bring out the Stakataka now, but if Stakataka comes out, I can Will-O-Wisp it and switch the Incineroar out. So let's see what comes in. Yep, there's Stakataka. I could actually also see Stakataka reversing the Trick Room here right now. I definitely want to Will-O-Wisp the Stakataka. And I'm thinking of just hard switching into Fini here. I mean, you probably Rock Slide. I guess you could Dynamax Stakataka as well. That'd be really interesting. I want a Will-O-Wisp here. I think we can just go Parting Shot into Moltres. If you knock out the Incineroar, you give me a free switch in. Okay, they protect Moltres, which indicates to me I think Stakataka is going to reverse the Trick Room here. Yeah, it's not great. That is not great. But what I can do now is pivot Dusclops out into Tapu Fini, Parting Shot into the Moltres to get in Glastrier. So it could be worse, I think. What's interesting is that neither of us have Dynamaxed this game yet, right? But I've burned Stakataka. I've wasted already a couple turns of Reflect. That's already 3 turns. They are at +3 special attack though, which is very scary. But we can go out into Tapu Fini now and go for a Parting Shot. Now the thing is that this is pretty obvious, so they could just choose to max Airstream into the Incineroar slot. I think that would make a lot of sense. Maybe I should have just gone out into Glastrier earlier, but the thing is, if I go into Glastrier and Stakataka comes out, then the Stakataka can Dynamax. So here I'm expecting Moltres to max in Darkness into the Dusclops to deny me another Trick Room, but they could Airstream into Incineroar as well. Okay, they go for Fiery Rat. That's actually probably the best outcome. Because it means I get Parting Shot off. As long as I don't flinch. And we avoid the flinch, which is good. Okay, nice. What do I want to go out into now? Because I could just go into Glastrier and Dynamax, but could go back out into Dusclops as well. Dusclops or Glastrier? I mean, Glastrier is the win con here, so I really don't want to switch it in and have it take any damage. So I'd rather just go out into Dusclops. Interesting considerations to Dynamax Tapu Fini just to deal with the Moltres this next turn. Okay, we obviously know the Shotgun and the Policy are there. Nice. Okay, they go for Body Press, so I'm glad I did not switch in the Glastrier in that slot. I don't know, Dynamaxing Fini is actually really interesting because Moltres is by far the best Dynamax option on the opposing side. It does make a lot of sense in the context of this match, I feel like. Because Fini has a pretty good matchup into everything. I mean, yes, there is the Regieleki in the back, but I have Fake Out on the Incineroar. I kind of want to go for it. I think I'm going to Dynamax. I'm going to Starfall into a Moltres and Nightshade. I think here I could see my opponent trying to reverse to Trick Room. Oh, Nightshade Stakataka here. Okay, let's see if they Dynamax the Moltres. They do not. Best case here is like they go Fiery Wrath and click Trick Room with the Stakataka, thinking that I'm going to Trick Room here. So this is an interesting scenario where, yeah, I'm actually Dynamaxing Tapu Fini, even though that's not normally the carry, because the Moltres is kind of a threat to us right now. And the Stakataka does nothing against Tapu Fini in this position. Okay, so it's just Fiery Wrath. Yep, Dusclops survives. Let's see, we get the Starfall off. So Moltres is gone. That's good. Stakataka being out on the field and being burnt right now is good for us, right? Because it's not really putting on that much pressure. Let's see if they went for Trick Room to try to reverse our Trick Room. Because I would think that's actually the play that makes the most sense. But they just opted Gyro Ball. Okay. Well, you can go out into Regieleki now. So if I click Trick Room there, we'd actually be in a really good spot. But I was kind of predicting them to try to reverse my Trick Room. But the thing is that, like, we still have Glastrier in the back, right? And I don't think Stakataka can KO Dusclops. So I'm actually just going to Max Geyser into Stakataka and Trick Room. The only way my opponent gets around this is if they KO Tapu Fini, which I think is likely. Stakataka protects, wow, okay. Are they... Okay, they're Volt switching into the Tapu Fini. Oh, wow, we survive. I didn't expect that to survive, to be honest. That's a huge survival. That's really good. I didn't expect the Stakataka to protect. What I was predicting, honestly, was my opponent targeting Dusclops to just get a knockout onto that slot. Let's see if Fini is my opponent's last one. It is. Okay, that's probably not ideal. It specs Fini there as well. You get the Max Geyser off, but the Fini is going to really hurt us in the rain here, I think. Gyro Ball from the opposing side won't KO us. And we get Trick Room up. Starfall into the Regieleki slot would have been really good there. It's an interesting game. Like, I felt maybe a little baited into Dynamaxing that Tapu Fini. And I was also predicting them to, like, reverse the Trick Room earlier. I could see their Fini maxing. But I know this thing is spexed. 2 turns of Reflect left. I can protect my Tapu Fini here. I'm down to protect Tapu Fini here and just Nightshade into the Stakataka. It's pretty guaranteed here. We could just attack with our Tapu Fini here too, though, but... Yeah, I think my opponent's Fini might sweep me now, because they can Dynamax it. I went Max Guard here, but maybe Starfall is better. Yeah, they Dynamax the Tapu Fini. I know it's Spec, so I know it doesn't have Protect, but I don't really have good damage into that at this point in the game, right? I've got Glastrier still sitting at full HP, which is the one upside. But this is the one downside in maxing Fini as early as I did. Now, I could have earlier also gone Max Guard on Tapu Fini, but I thought that was too obvious. Like, I could have clicked Max Guard and just Trick Roomed. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to Max Guard here. They're going to go Jar Ball into that slot. Okay, that's good. We're going to go Nightshade, get the KO on this thing. The problem is that I just don't have enough damage into Tapu Fini right now, right? Like, I've got a Glastrier in the back, but, like, the Specs Fini in the rain's really going to hurt. Yeah, and they end up going for Geyser. So, maybe I could have just Starfalled there instead. Like, I can Geyser into the Regieleki for a KO right now. I think I bring out the Incineroar here, so I can Parting Shot. Because the way I can see us winning this is by decreasing Fini's special attack a bunch. This is a really interesting game, though. I think my opponent played this quite nicely. I don't feel like I played particularly bad, but I think the Dynamax on Fini was maybe a little adventurous, and we should have committed to Dynamaxing against the Stakataka instead. Okay, so my max ends. I don't know how fast the opposing Fini is, too. That's part of the problem. 3 turns of Rain. Obviously, I've got Fake Out right now. Yeah, I'm leaning towards just Fake Out Muddy Water here. Yeah. I don't remember whose Fini is faster, aka, or slower, aka faster under Trick Room. That's the other problem. Because I actually have a fair amount of speed investment in my Tapu Fini, but that Fini is Specs, if I remember correctly. Okay, we get the Fake Out off. They are faster. Yeah, that's bad. So us having speed investment here actually punishes us, unfortunately, which is kind of sad. Reflect finally wears off. Terrain is gone. They can still Geyser into us, but I can Parting Shot before they get the Geyser. Oh, you know what's a really interesting play? Self-Flare Blitz to proc the Policy. How many turns of Trick Room are left? There's still 2. The thing is that I think Regieleki goes for another Reflect. So this turn what I can do... Wait, hold on. I also get a boost, right? I get an attack boost if I KO the Regieleki. So if I just high horsepower, that's a KO, and Parting Shot into Fini, then it's at -1 special attack. This is going to be really close. Okay, so we get the knockout there. Nice. Should I have gone for Fake Out last turn? Yeah, I still think the last turn we played, that was the only possible play we could really make. Okay, I get the Parting Shot off. I want to Flare Blitz myself so badly next turn, so then I can proc the Weakness Policy. They're going to Geyser, but Glastrier should survive this. Yeah, wait, we definitely self-Flare Blitz here, I think. Yeah, because their Dynamax ends. And Flare Blitz doesn't KO. Wait, this will actually be such a sick play. Oh, wait. Glastrier goes first. Never mind. Whoops. I forgot about that. I could have Flare Blitzed last turn, this last turn then. But then the Geyser does so much damage. Okay. They can miss too. I don't think high horsepower at +1 KOs though. So I'm going to go high horsepower. Question is whether I just maximize my damage output. A Muddy Water won't KO Glastrier here, so they're going to need 2. But I'm wondering if with Parting Shot... They're Spec, so they do a lot of damage. Yeah, I think I'm just going to maximize damage output here. Man, okay. Well, I think that will seal up the game unless they miss Glastrier here. I actually think that might have picked up the KO based off how much Muddy Water actually did there. That's heartbreaking. Okay, Glastrier survives, and they are choice locked, so they have to click Muddy Water here. Maybe Parting Shot actually would have allowed us to survive another one. Especially actually because the rain stopped. Yeah, Parting Shot was the play there, I think. Well, that's the downside of high horsepower. 95%, man. Yeah. Close. They missed, though. Okay. I don't think high horsepower one-shot, so let's see. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, so I needed... They were going to have this anyway. I mean, they could miss again. Might as well protect. Like, PP is always something to consider. But I'm not PP stalling here. Yeah, actually, it doesn't really matter, right? Well, yeah, because of the fact that High Horsepower did as little as it did, I was going to need a single miss anyway, which ended up happening, but then I missed as well. So let's see if we can get 2 in a row. Nah, they connected. All right. GG. That was a fun one. That was actually, I think that was a really solid game on both ends. Like, I'm pretty happy about. I feel like we were both making good plays. But, yeah, I think the Dynamax on my Tapu Fini might have been a little bit adventurous. Parting Shot may have been the play there as well. I'm wondering if Flare Blitz into myself. No, if I Flare Blitz and I don't get the Parting Shot off, then Glastrier takes too much damage, I think. What else could I have done? Not KO. No, I think I needed to KO the Regieleki. The thing is, as soon as I commit Dynamaxing the Tapu Fini, my damage output against the opposing Fini is significantly reduced, right? So, I think we brought the right Pokemon. I was just really worried about Moltres Dynamaxing. I also read into the Stakataka trying to reverse my Trick Room. So, yeah. But that was a really fun game, and I thought my opponent played that really well. Yeah, that was... In the end, it looks like... Yeah, we were going to need some RNG to win that one. Like, we need a single Muddy Water miss out of 2 hits. And then we also need to hit 2 high horsepower. So the odds of us winning that were pretty slim. They put themselves in a really good end game. Regidrago. That's cool. So they have a hard Trick Room team here as well, which is interesting because they actually outspeed Glastrier with a lot of their Pokemon. Makes me want to lead Glastrier, to be honest. Fini also looks pretty good here. I think the scariest thing is probably Dynamax Stakataka. I'm down to lead Fini to Calm Mind up. Like, Incineroar Fini is pretty interesting with Dusclops Glastrier in the back. Also, my light keeps, or the lighting keeps changing, which is annoying me, so let me try to fix that real quick. Regidrago is interesting here, though. That's probably the one Pokemon I'm really curious about. Okay. Whoa. Nope. In between. A little bit more. Okay. Good enough. Maybe a little too bright. No, that's fine. Okay, Indeedee, that's fine. Because I can just Burning Jealousy Calm Mind turn 1, I think. Man, the last game was a banger. It was a fun one. Yeah, I feel like probably the better play is to just conserve my Dynamax and Dynamax the Glastrier, because Glastrier sweeps that team super hard. But I wanted to show respect to the Moltres because they had so many increased stages of special attack. Okay. So they're faster with Indeedee, that's not surprising. Calm Mind. Calm Mind turn 1. Probably follow me here, right? Parting Shot doesn't work against the Hatterene because it's just going to Magic Bounce it back. I could obviously Parting Shot into the Indeedee and then get Dusclops in. Or I could just I kind of want to just Burning Jealousy for damage here, to be honest. They could also max Hatterene. Yeah, they just go for follow me. Okay, that's fine. They'll get Trick Room up, but it's not too bad. I think the only problem here is that I don't have terrain control, because they do substantially more damage with the Psychic type attacks. But what's interesting now is if you max the Hatterene, I can force you out with the Parting Shot. Yeah, so Trick Room goes up. Burning Jealousy doesn't do much, but that's fine. We get the Calm Mind up. Now, the question is, what do you go for? If I'm my opponent, I would think max Hatterene, follow me, max Psychic into Tapu Fini. So I want to protect and Parting Shot here into the Hat. It could be a... Okay, yeah, so they don't Dynamax the Hat, which is a smart play. Maybe just Dazzle Expanding Forces here. Okay, they just go for E-Force. That's fine. They didn't follow me, which means I actually do swap out the Hat here. It's actually double E-Force. Nice. That works out for us. Because what's interesting now is I can switch out my Incineroar. What comes in right now? Of course I could have just, like, Parting Shot actually may have just worked out better there, but I wanted to cover for the action of Hatterene maxing. I guess they're never just going to max Hatterene in front of this, though. So, it was a play to potentially punish, like, a mistake on their end more than anything. But I don't mind swapping out Hat, because, like, Fini is, like, this Indeedee isn't as scary, right? So I think you probably bring out Stakataka or the Marowak, and it's going to be Marowak coming out, okay. Marowak comes out. It's a pretty big threat, offensively for sure, but Glastrier can deal with it. However, I'd probably need to knock out the Tapu Fini. I don't know if you can one-shot. Max Phantasm from Marowak probably one-shots Fini here. Yeah, that may be a problem. If I'm my opponent, what do I go for? Follow Me, Phantasm. So I want a Dynamax, to be honest. Geyser into Marowak and Parting Shot into it. With the expectation that Indeedee follow me's. Because I think regular Glastrier can do pretty well here. The problem with bringing out Glastrier is that Marowak can kind of just destroy it. But right now, with Marowak maxing, there is so much pressure being put on Tapu Fini that I think the problem is that I can't knock out the Indeedee either, right? So it's the combination of these two that's rough. Last turn would have worked out better if I just went Party Shot and went out into Glastrier immediately, but I don't mind Dynamaxing Tapu Fini a ton in this game, because I think it does have some value, especially since we got that Combine boost off, and by switching in the Incineroar, I can bring it back in for another Intimidate. So, let's see. I'm expecting Follow Me. I don't know if the +1 Geyser knocks out the Indeedee, though. That's part of the problem. Oh, they didn't go for Follow Me. Interesting. Okay. Well, Fini survives that, but yeah, if we didn't max, I think that plus E-Force might have KO'd. I wonder if +1 just knocks out the Marowak here. That would be really sweet. And just go for Expanding Force. Okay. I don't mind that. So we get the Parting Shot off, and now we can cycle and Intimidate out and then back in. So today's the Dynamax Fini game. Which is interesting because, right, like Glastrier and Dragapult are the stars of this team, but it shows how you can have flexibility in Dynamaxing. So let's just go out into the... Well, whatever I bring in, I'm probably going to just switch out anyway. So I'm down to go out into Dusclops just to go back out into the Incineroar. If Max Geyser one-shots this thing, I think we're in great shape. So let's see if it does. Even if it doesn't, like Marowak's already at -1 attack. Focus Sash Indeedee, interesting. That's not super surprising, but it's bulkier than normal too. So Tapu Fini Dynamaxes, gets the +1 Max Geyser off into the Marowak. And that's just a one-hit KO, nice. This is what I mean by, like, punishing my opponent, right? Now, this next turn is really interesting because I can just max guard the Tapu Fini and reverse Trick Room with the Dusclops. And then just go Muddy Water. Or not Muddy Water, I still have one more turn to max. Starfall to change the terrain. But knocking out Marowak was huge because I think that was by far the biggest threat to our team. So, yeah. If you're using this team, you're going to Dynamax Dragapult or Glastrier most of the time. We actually haven't really brought out Dragapult, so hopefully we can get a game in with that soon. But Tapu Fini is a very excellent Dynamax option in the format right now. They might double Expanding Force here. Actually, to be honest, Fini should survive, I think. Yeah, we have an increased stage of Spadef. So I'm down to just Starfall into... Actually, with Rain up. If we're reversing Trick Room anyway, then we can just Geyser, right? Yeah, I'm down to Geyser and just reverse the Trick Room. I have my Berry and the increased stage of Special Defense, so I think Fini just is fine here. Yep, that should activate our Berry. It's Life 4, but that's fine. Maybe I should have targeted the Hatterene here. I don't think it really makes too much of a difference. Another E-Force. Yep, and we survive with both. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Nice. This is why Dynamax Tapu Fini can be really good. And that's why Calm Mind is just one of my favorite sets to use right now. So we get the KO onto that. We reverse Trick Room. We have one more turn of Dynamax on Tapu Fini. I've got a Glastrier waiting in the back as well. We know the Hatterene has Expanding Force, Trick Room, and its Life Orb. Normally you're going to run like Dazzling, obviously, and then a fourth can be Mystical Fire or Protect. So let's see what the last one is. Regidrago would be really interesting. Oh, it's Stakataka. Okay, that's even better for us, to be honest. Let's see. Psychic Terrain is still up. So I'm down to just Geyser into the Hatterene and Will-O-Wisp into the Stakataka. Yeah, because if that thing's burnt, it really won't do much. They don't protect either Pokemon, which is pretty interesting. So I could have just Geysered into the Stakataka, but I was reading a Protect there. Yep, Fini just one-shots the Hatterene there. Nice. I was kind of nervous in Dynamaxing Tapu Fini here because I was just saying how that might have been the mistake from the last match, but ended up working out alright here. And we hit the burn too, which is huge. And that's the upside of like why I led Fini, right? Because my opponent has to lead somewhat passively in order to get Trick Room up in this game. So they managed to get the Trick Room up with the Stakataka, but it's 4v1 at this point, so there's really not that much it can do. Yeah, in fact, I think I can just switch Fini out into the Incineroar for an Intimidate. Reverse the Trick Room, and then go from there. Like, you mean, this thing probably has Body Press, but even with that, like, yeah. I don't even think a Rock Slide or a Gyro Ball will KO Dusclops after an Intimidate and the Burn. So I'm just going to go out into Incineroar, reverse the Trick Room, and then we can just Parting Shot, Nightshade, go to town from there. But Stakataka, you know, it's never over until it's over, and this thing does get Beast Boost, and anything with Beast Boost is always a threat. So my opponent's, you know, still toughing it out, and I can definitely respect that. They're just not for Gyro Ball here. Into the Dusclops for a total of what looked like 5 damage. So, nice. We reversed the Trick Room, and that's why I wanted to bring the Dusclops. Like, is Dusclops going to enable Glastrier 100% of the time in this game? No, but the fact that I can pull this off is good enough, so. I'm down to just Flare Blitz and Nightshade here. Like, it's going to get KO'd soon enough, and, we've seen Trick Room. I mean, normally you run Trick Room, Gyro Ball, Body Press, Rock Slide, Protect, like 4 of those 5 moves. So, yeah. Main thing in this game was my opponent not going for the Follow Me on the Indeedee, which I can understand. I think they probably were expecting Fini to not Dynamax, and they were hoping to just KO with the Phantasm and the Expanding Force. I gotta say, I was actually kind of impressed that the Fini was gonna survive a Phantasm even if we didn't Dynamax there, because we took less than 50% there. So, that was pretty cool to see. Alright, let's get into the last match. Slightly longer games with Series 7. This team is also bulkier, so games last a little bit longer, but this is a cool team. Landorus, Metagross, Mesprit, Tapu Lele, Tapu Koko, and G-Moltres. So I do think that we should just try to sweep through a Glastrier. I don't know very much about Actually, this could be a Dragapult game now that I look at it, because Phantasms kind of wreck everything here. I'm really compelled to use Dragapult. There are 2 fair... But, like, here's the thing, right? I think if you're my opponent, you have to lead to beat the Dusclops. Well, then I guess you could just go with the Moltres. So I like leading Tapu Fini, actually. Tapu Fini and Dragapult's interesting. With Dusclops Glastrier in the back. Because, like, a Glastrier can put in so much work here even if I don't Dynamax it. This is actually a mode I've never gone with before, but I think it could be decent here. That's a really cool team, though. I mean, mainly because of the Mesprit. I think I'm really interested about the Mesprit, but I don't really like Indeedee Dusclops here as a lead because my opponent has that Moltres, and I want to basically put on a lot of offensive pressure right from turn 1. So with this lead, I thread in Dragapult Max immediately, which could be helpful. Fini can Calm Mind, and it changes the terrain as well. Yeah, Mesprit comes out. I think that's probably Imprison, if I had to guess. That's my best bet. Maybe Imprison Sash. The thing is that Moltres is still really scary, especially against the Dragapult here. So, like, I want to Calm Mind turn 1, I think. Part of me just wants to Dynamax here, but Glastrier feels like a good max option if I can knock... it's just tough, though, right? Because how can I get Trick Room up in this game? It's kind of hard to do. Kind of down to Calm Mind, Dynamax, and just Phantasm here. Are you going to be Sash Mesprit? That's the other question. Because I don't think Max Darkness from the Moltres should one-shot the Dragapult here if we're Dynamaxing this. So let's go for it. We also get a defense drop, which is very good against Moltres, right? They don't switch out, but that's not surprising. Sash Mesprit, I guess, is what I'm scared about. I think Mesprit's definitely in prison, which is why I didn't want to lead Dusclops. I think he gets in prison, actually. I mean, maybe he doesn't even get in prison. So that's something I'll have to check after the game, but... That's at least... I know at least it gets Trick Room, so even if it's not in... Like, I'm actually, like, fairly confident it does. Yeah, they Dynamax Moltres. Okay. See, this is interesting, though. Oh, unless Mesprit has a way to proc a weakness policy right from the start. That would be scary. The other question is my opponent max Airstream here? Because an Airstream means then you can outspeed the Dusclops next turn, which would be pretty scary. Or sorry, Dragapult next turn. And I don't have Airstream here. So Airstream would actually be a very good play on their end. Okay, we get the Phantasm off. Into Mesprit. And it's not Sash. Okay, well, that's good at least. Although I wonder then if I could have just gone Dragapult Dusclops. But then what does that really accomplish? I was thinking of Phantom Forcing there as well. That would have been kind of cool. Okay, they go for the Darkness, yeah. I shouldn't one-shot us, right? I underestimated Moltres. Oops. I really thought we'd survive that, to be honest. I didn't think that would be a one-hit KO. Is it Life Orb then? Instead of, like, Bulky Policy? It is! That's why. Wow. Man, Phantom Force Calm Mind would have been a sick turn 1 play then. Because then I waste 2 turns of my opponent's Dynamax just to deal with the Dragapult. I don't think that KOs without the Life Orb, but I don't know my calcs super well. I'm down to go into Dusclops or Glastrier. I think Life Orb Max Darkness, because I don't have any special defense investment, maybe can KO Dusclops here. What a waste of a Dynamax on my end. I made that play because I didn't think we'd get KO'd, but I didn't think about Life Orb Moltres, which makes a lot of sense. Oh gosh, and Koko comes in too, so. Yeah, Phantom Force would have been so sick turn 1. That definitely was the play. Okay, Scarf Koko. Are you Scarf Electro Ball? Be interesting. Well, I know you're not Weakness Policy at least, but my opponent should have a lock on this game because you should always double up onto Dusclops for a KO. I don't really see how we get out of this. I should have Phantom Force turn 1. I just didn't expect the Life Orb, and I thought, like, it'd be fine. But that's why you have to be really careful when playing with Dragapult. I didn't do a great job in this game. Dazzle, and just Trick Room. Yeah. Unless they don't double up onto Dusclops and Dusclops survives a Max Darkness, then we can actually win. Because if Trick Room goes up against my opponent's team, it's very good. Thunderbolt. Yep, they go into Clops, which is the correct play. Airstream? What are they doing? I feel like they literally just tossed a match. Why go for that? Why not just Darkness into Dusclops? Huh. We take those? We definitely take those, but I don't know. I think maybe my opponent was just overthinking things there. Like, maybe covering for an ally switch, but even then, it's kind of bizarre, to be honest. I mean, we have Glastrier in the back. Glastrier should just sweep through. That's why I was like, if we get Trick Room up, I think we win this game. So, this was a bizarre one. I made an aggressive play turn 1, and I shouldn't have made that play without knowing my opponent's full moves. That was a bad play on my end. I'm down to just Dazzling Gleam and Nightshade here, because Dazzle will KO the Koko. Okay, we get the Nightshade off. Berserk's gonna go off here, but that's fine, I think, because we have the Glastrier in the back. Okay, there's Dazzle. Yeah, I mean, Moltres will be in Nightshade KO range, too. I can't believe they let me get Trick Room up. That's crazy. Airstream again. What is Airstream covering for? I'm trying to understand why they're Airstreaming instead of Max Darknessing. I guess for the Fini, but still. Okay, what's their last Pokemon? If it's Weakness Policy Metagross, actually, then... Actually, that made... Metagross... Oh, it's Landorus. Okay, then it's over. Wow. This was an interesting game. That's also, by the way, why I led Dragapult, because I was like, I think we can get Trick Room in the late game, but because it was Life Orb Max Darkness, or like, just, yeah, Life Orb Moltres, I thought we were doomed. So, this is an example of a game, like, we probably had no business winning, but the thing is, your opponent also has to make the right plays, right? I just thought, like, a Thunderbolt Max Darkness into the Dusclops is always super safe, but they didn't, and we got Trick Room up, so we take those. You can just Dazzling Gleam Icicle Crash now, I think. Hold on, how many turns of Trick Room are left? There's still 3. The only reason I'm like hesitant here is in case I miss an Ice Skull Crash and they protect Moltres, which could definitely happen, but they don't protect. Wow. Wow. We had no business winning this game, to be honest, and yeah, Ice Skull Crash just one-shots. So if I were to play this differently, the one game-changing play here is just Phantom Force Mesprit Calm Mind turn 1. But what I was worried about was my opponent Dynamaxing Moltres and max airstreaming into the Tapu Fini, so then they can just outspeed my Dragapult in the subsequent turn. So that was the play I was expecting, to be honest. But yeah, we take those. The Mesprit is really interesting. I actually want to quickly calc the Max Darkness into Dragapult, because like I said, I thought we were going to survive without a Life Orb, so I want to know if I'm right in that assumption or not, because if not, either way, now that I know with Life Orb you can get that guaranteed KO, I would never Dynamax in that position ever again, so we learned a thing or two, which is valuable. Let's assume Modest, Life Orb. If we're Dynamaxed, Max Darkness, oops, is a guaranteed KO against Dynamax Dragapult, if you're Modest. And if you don't have Life Orb, then it does 78 to 93%, or 79 to 93%. So, okay, my initial assumption was right, but I didn't consider the Life Orb, and I really should have, because normally a weakness policy is very evident on a team, right? You're going to have a way to activate the weakness policy, self-Volt Switch from something like Raichu or Regieleki, Comfey, for example. I guess there's a Tapu Koko there, but Tapu Koko using a Volt Switch into Moltres makes no sense, to be honest, because you do so much damage to yourself. Especially because the terrain is up as well, right? So, yeah. Okay, so given that, the correct play, I also want to double-check Mesprit's moveset, but I'm almost confident it gets imprisoned, so I just want to confirm that, because I think that's what my opponent was going for with that lead. Yep, it does, okay. It wasn't Sash, which was interesting, so I'm curious on the item there, maybe like a bulky berry. So, what would have been really sick, if I could replay that, was just Phantom Force Mesprit turn 1 Calm Mind, because if you looked at their team, they had Koko and Landorus in the back. That's also why I wanted to Dynamax Dragapult, because I thought they had no Ghost Switch-ins other than the Moltres, which I could use Tapu Fini to beat, right? So if it was like a policy Moltres, then, you know, you don't care the Dragapult can kind of just pick up 3 knockouts in 3 turns, because it outspeeds everything on the opposing end. So if you think about how that match played out, if I just Phantom Force Calm Mind turn 1, they whiff a Max Darkness into Dragapult. Turn 2, I get a Phantom Force, which KOs Mesprit, or does a ton of damage into a switch-in as well. Probably one-shots Tapu Koko as well. So then, your Moltres is committed 2 turns just to knock out Dragapult, and Fini can either get another Calm Mind off there, or just click Dazzling Gleam. Especially, I probably wouldn't click Dazzling Gleam, I actually probably would go for another Calm Mind, because I haven't seen the Moltres' item. And then we just need to stall out one more turn of Dynamax, so then I can bring in the Glastrier, and then Dynamax Tapu Fini actually could probably 1v4 that matchup as well. So we ended up winning, but this is a perfect example of a game where even though we won, I definitely made like some critical errors, and if I were to replay that, I would never make the same plays. Mainly because I just didn't consider Life Orb Moltres. So while a lot of people are using weakness policy Moltres right now, you definitely have to show Life Orb some respect. That is definitely a possibility, but yeah, some really interesting games today. I think going up against Wolfie's team was really fun, and I thought my opponent played it really well as well. So that one was tricky because I think I was too afraid of Moltres, and so maybe wasted my Dynamax there. Could have conserved my Dynamax for Glastrier, because Glastrier matched up really, really well against it. But yeah, it was a close one, and like I said, it's a shame because the self-flare blitz would have been so cool, but Glastrier being faster under Trick Room obviously meant that we couldn't go for it. Maybe Parting Shot would have been better on the last turn with the Incineroar, but I thought +1 high horsepower would do more into Tapu Fini, to be honest, than that one. So yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much as always for watching, and leave a like if you enjoyed. I will see you all next time. Alright, peace.